Good morning, children. How are you all? And today we are going to see about the inclusive education part 2. So in this, before we going to the part 2, I just wanted to brush up with our last class. What is called as inclusive education? We were seeing about what is called inclusive education. Do you remember what is inclusive education? Yeah, inclusive education is a new approach of educating the children with disabilities and learning difficulties. Okay, they all come under the same roof. Okay, so it is a opportunity given to all the children. Okay, so this is a inclusive education, and we have seen the benefits. What are the uses of inclusive education, what is the meaning of inclusive education, and what is the characteristics of inclusive education. Okay, so now we'll move on to the next topic. In the same education, inclusive education, we already discussed about the target groups in inclusive education. So already I have discussed this. Target groups means what? So target groups are broadly understood as those whose educational needs are not significantly addressed by regular or mainstream literacy provisions. Okay, certain children face unique circumstances that prevent them or make their attempt to realize their potential more difficulty. Those groups of children and youth suffer from societal indifferences and negligence. So learning problems, we know, can be due to environmental, cultural, economical deprivations, etc. Okay, so they need special services to realize their potential, such as inclusive classroom setup. Okay, so we are going to discuss those children, who are they and how they are broadly classified. Okay, so the first thing is we want to know about what is the main difference between impairment and disability. What is called as impairment? First, you should understand what is impairment. Impairment means there is a problem in our organs. Either it can be an eye problem, or it can be our oral, or brain, or hands, leg, whatever it may be. Okay, so it may be the organ of our body. Disability, see, you should divide this word as ability and disability. Ability means you can able to do, that is ability. Disability is you cannot do it. Something is restricting, something is hindering, that you cannot able to do. So you are unable to do, you are unable. Okay, so you cannot perform that action, so that is called disability. Okay, so we are going to see this word continuously, so that's why I first of all explained what is impairment and disability. So the person with the disabilities, okay, this person with the disabilities Act 1995 incorporates a medical definition according to section 2T, person with disability. You can see the short form PWD, that is person with disability. Okay, so hereafter you may come across some of the PPTs with PWD. You should know that is person, W with D, disability. Okay, means a person suffering from not less than 40% of any disability as certified by a medical authority. The meaning of disability is described in section 2I, stating that disability means, see here, this according to the government, see, blindness, low vision, leprosy cured, okay, either it's leprosy or leprosy cured, hearing impairment, locomotor disability, mental retardation, mental illness, all these are certified, okay, as disability. So when you apply for some government job or any higher studies, they have a column like, are you person with disability? Yes, and even in UGC NET exam, whatever exams you appear, before you fill the application form, you have a column like person, are you a person with a disability? So these are the disabilities which the government has approved. So these, the government already, they said that these are like not less than 40% of any disability certified by the medical authority. Okay, so this first, I'll give an example for impairment. An impairment is a loss or abnormality of a body function that can be anatomically, physiologically, or psychologically. They lost their function. For example, missing a limb, either the upper limb or the lower limb, or else diagnosed as a mental disorder. Maybe many disorders are there, mental disorders. A disability is an inability or restricted ability to perform an activity within the normal human range. Example, being unable to walk. You have legs, you have the limb, okay, upper limb and lower limb, but you are unable to walk, you cannot walk. So that is disability. And impairment is you don't have that limb, okay, you don't have a limb, either because of the accident or something like that, you miss the limb. So that is only impairment. So how it is classified broadly? Okay, shall we see that how it is classified? What are the classification of exceptional children? Now I told you there's a target group. So in that target group, we need to give a special attention for a special education or special education to those children. So who are they? They are mentally or intellectually exceptional children. First one is mentally or intellectually. Under this, we have mental retarded children, gifted children, and the creative children. Second one is sensory exceptional children. Sensory. Here it is classified according to the affecting. See here, which part is affected, according to that they are classifying this. So sensory exceptional children are those who can't able to see, visually impaired, hearing impaired, so they can't able to hear, some problem maybe due to some causes. We will look after one by one why this is happened. Okay, we'll move on to the next important topic. There I will explain each and everything, what is the characteristics of a hearing impaired children, what is the causes, everything I will explain. The next one is non-sensory physically exceptional children, orthopedically impaired, communicationally exceptional children, children with communication disorder, learning or academically exceptional children, learning disabled, slow learners, socially and emotionally exceptional children, emotionally disturbed, socially handicapped, socially disadvantaged. And the next one is multiple disabled and several affected and severely affected exceptional children, children with cerebral palsy, children with autism, children with multiple disabilities. So now we move on to the things which we have to learn, which we have to concentrate. So we are going to concentrate only on these 5 types of disability. Okay, so we are going to see only hearing impairment, visual impairment, orthopedic impairment, mental impairment, and learning disability. So with this, we are going to see how we tell that hearing impairment or hearing disability, how it can be classified. Okay, what is the meaning? Under disability, what is impairment? Under handicapped, what is impairment? Okay, so here we have taken the topic. The first one is hearing impairment. Hearing impairment. Under this, see, it is a damage. It is a damage in the ear. Maybe something, some hole in the eardrum. You may get some damage. So because of that, you may lose hearing. Then disability means, see, there is no damage there, but you find it difficult in hearing the sounds, difficulty in transmission of sounds. Handicap means unable to hear normally. It's not because of aging. Handicap is either at birth. At birth means congenital or acquired. It can be acquired, maybe because of some reason. Okay, handicap is unable to hear. So first, shall we see hearing impairment, and later we'll one by one we'll look after visual impairment and orthopedic impairment and mental impairment. Okay, learning disability is a very vast subject. Okay, so you have to learn that learning disability is very important, that you have to know thoroughly, because you cannot see a question paper without a learning disability question. Okay, it's very important in UGC NET exam and also B.ed exam. Okay, so here in hearing impairment, so first of all, I told you PWD means what I told, a person with disability. Okay, so according to that act PWD 1995, we have seen in the first slide. So according to that act PWD 1995 act, the definition of disability includes this hearing impairment. Hearing impairment means loss of 60 decibel. What is decibel? Decibel means the hearing is measured in decibel as dB, decibels. Okay, so the hearing impairment means less than 60 decibels or more in the better ear in speech conversation frequencies. Okay, so what is that? It refers to hearing impairment as a condition that affect the frequency or intensity of one's hearing. Okay, individuals with mild to moderate hearing impairments may be hard of hearing but are not deaf. Okay, they are not deaf. These individuals differ from deaf individuals as they use their hearing to assist in communication with others. Okay, so in less than 60 decibels. So what are the characteristics? How WHO grading, World Health Organization also, they grade them. Okay, how the hearing impairment is, like whether they have a slight impairment or moderate impairment or severe or profound impairment. So we have different characteristics of hearing impairments. So what are they? See, sound cannot be heard. See, it's like letter S. How do we pronounce this S? S, 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 N, A, K. Snake. P, N, pen. Ch, 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 a, chair. Okay, so like this they can't able to hear. Okay, the key parts of particular speech sounds may not be audible, meaning sounds are mislead and words misunderstood. Sounds are difficult to separate, so voices can become jumbled up with background noises. Okay. Hearing impaired child misses the tone of voice which conveys so much. Hearing impaired child suffers the humiliation of being thought stupid. Sometimes what we talk and what they understand is different. They are unable to hear and understand. Okay, even if you shout also, some children cannot able to hear. Okay, so these are some of the characteristics of the hearing loss. Okay, so here there are different types of hearing loss. Okay, so mild hearing impairment, moderate hearing impairment, severe hearing impairment. As I already told you, profound hearing impairment, that means 100% or 100% impairment, they can't able to hear. Okay, so if it is mild, so very slight hearing problems, can hear the very small, okay, slight. And if it is a slight impairment, means they cannot, they'll ask you for repeatedly, they will ask, yes, excuse me, what you told. So like that, excuse me, pardon, they use like this, and they hear the word, okay, and repeat the words. Okay, able to hear but they cannot able to repeat the words in moderate impairment. And profound means, as I told you, they are unable to hear and understand. Okay, so it is very poor, like 100% of impairment is there. You can see in the last type of hearing, profound hearing. Okay, so there are like age, as I told you, age is also a factor. Okay, when they grow older and older, in old age they cannot able to hear properly. Congenitally deaf means they born deaf. Then adventitiously deaf means born with normal hearing and became deaf through accident or illness. Okay, so what is that mixed hearing loss? What is that mixed hearing loss? There's a combination of like what to tell, the sensory neural problem. Okay, there may be some abnormalities of the inner ear or the auditory nerves. Okay, so maybe because of that. Then what is conductive hearing loss? What is conductive hearing loss? Hearing loss due to the interference in the transmission of sound to and through the sensor organs. Okay, maybe outer or middle ear. Okay, so what are the causes? What may be the causes? Sometimes when the child is in the womb, okay, when the mother is pregnant, maybe she is affected with some infectious diseases, or maybe the low birth weight, or maybe the baby may land up with asphyxia, or something, maybe because of some drugs, inappropriate drugs, like certain tablets, that's called drugs. Okay, so maybe severe jaundice, something like that. These are some of the causes. Okay, congenitally or acquired. Sometimes even the collection of fluids in the ear, okay, otitis media, even that you people can lose their hearing ability. Okay, chronic ear infections, maybe some other problems like meningitis and all. The meningitis may cause the hearing loss. Okay, it lead to hearing loss. Measles, mumps, maybe any head injury or hair injury. Okay, so these are some of the things. Okay, or these are some of the causes which may lead to hearing loss. Okay? So what are the challenges? Before going to visual impairment, just we'll see what are the challenges they face. The first very important thing is language. They have the delayed language development with unclear speech and incorrect pronunciation. Then again, emotion and behavior. Easy to have emotions and behavior problems because, see, difficulties in verbally expressing themselves, no, so they will be very emotional and they will have that emotional and behavior problems. Self confidence, they will have lack of self confidence because with the poor self images, for being always mistaken. Okay, and also they will be very slow in response, and social interaction will be very poor because if they hear something they have to reply, they have to respond, because they want to respond, they won't, because of this poor comprehension and expression, or actively they will avoid this social contact and communications. Academic performance will be affected due to difficulty in receiving the correct messages what the ma'am speaks. So there will be a language deficit causes learning problems that result in reduced academic achievements. Okay, so it will affect their self image. So these are some of the challenges they would face, the children who is having hearing loss. Okay, in the next class we'll see the visual impairment. Thank you, children.